The final game we have for our top five games in the Week 10 preview is Cincinnati taking on Utah and Salt Lake City. This matchup was really hard for me to pick. I think this one in Vanderbilt, Texas, were probably the hardest games for me. I really want to pick Brendan Sorsby and the Bearcats in this game. They're on a roll. I think they are currently on a 7 game win streak since losing to Nebraska in the season opener in a very sloppy night game that just felt off from the get go to me. I've loved how Cincinnati's played. Tommy Walker and Evan Pryor have been running the ball with purpose this season. They're a really solid duo. Brennan Sorsby has been easily one of the best quarterbacks in the country. He should be getting legitimate recognition nationally right now. I'm not seeing him very close in the Heisman odds. I don't think that's very fair, to be honest with you. I know he needs some signature wins, but he's putting up the stats and the kind of plays that you would expect from a top 15 quarterback, top 10 quarterback in the country right now. So I love what I'm seeing from him. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to go with Utah here. I just think that this is clearly far and above the biggest test for this football team so far this season. Nebraska was a tough game on the road, and I think this is going to be much harder than that game. And they dropped that game to Nebraska. Nebraska is just a diet version of Utah with a way less mobile quarterback. Devin Dampier presents so many issues for opposing defensive units and coordinators. I just don't know what Cincinnati's defense is made of yet, even though we're 8 games into the season. I don't feel like they've been tested like this yet. With the kind of consistency in the run game that Utah presents, we saw what they did last week to Colorado. They absolutely obliterated Colorado. I think it was 53-7.
Yeah,
Complete decimation of that football team. Ran all over them with a backup quarterback. And they didn't have a chance. Regardless of who starts at quarterback in this game, I believe Devin Dampier will be healthy. I think I'm going to take Utah 27-23. Like I said, I really want to pick Cincinnati and Brendan Sorsby to get this win to improve to 8-1 and be in a great position in the Big 12. But this just feels like a game that they're going to drop.
we called Cincinnati being in this position about a month ago, ahead of their game at home against Iowa State. Nobody was talking about this team, and we saw the potential for them to be in this position they are right now, and they made it there. But unfortunately for them, I do think they pick up a loss here. Utah is 0 for 2 in big games this year, though. But I do think they finally win this one here with college game day in town. I like Utah with that consistent run game and offense to end up winning here 24-21. And you can't forget last week, they held Colorado to negative 20 yards in the first half.
That's
This
insanity.
is a really, really good defense, and I think that will help them out here significantly as well.
Yeah, they have one of the top sack leaders in the country as well at defensive end. I think he'll make a huge impact here for the Utes. And like you said about the big games, I think the last big game scenario they had in Utah was big new kickoff against Texas Tech, which was a 13-10 game going into the fourth quarter. I think if you're Cincinnati, you got to be praying for that fourth quarter Utah team to show up. That's what you want to see. I don't know that we'll see that, but I know Cincinnati is holding out hope for that. This football team has a lot of talent, and they're going to give Utah everything they can handle, but I just feel like Utah is going to be a little bit more talented on that defensive side of the football.